Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to Peter's Movie Club, where every Friday I choose a movie from my past, some nostalgic movie that I love, that we are going to watch collectively together for the next week. And then I also react to the movie that I picked the previous week. So today we're going to talk about The Lady in White, which was the movie that I picked for last week. And then I'm also going to announce the movie that we're going to watch for the next week. Now, I'm trying to pick for this month, the month of October, Halloween month, my favorite holiday in the entire world. I'm trying to pick kind of spooky movies. I will tell you, I have on my list, I actually made the list up last night for what the last 3 movies of the month are going to be. This week's movie is not so much a Halloween movie, it's more of a thriller, but it's a movie that when I watched when I was younger, it scared the hell out of me. I thought it was very, very scary. It's a great thriller, and I actually haven't watched it in a long time, so I'm really excited about it. And then the last 2 movies of the month are definitely horror movies. And the last movie going into Halloween is a very specific Halloween movie, and it is very gory and it is very scary, so I'm just going to give you the heads up on that. I actually, so I try to pick all the movies from Tubi, because Tubi is a free streaming app that is available in Mexico, Canada, the United States, and parts of Europe, and mostly UK. And so I was trying to specifically pick the movies over on Tubi so that it's a free streaming app. So it would be easy for a lot of people to find the movies. They wouldn't have to pay for them and things like that. But I was like, maybe I should go into the rest of Halloween and then going into the holiday season with just picking like my favorite Halloween and holiday movies, and then we'll see where we can find them. And so, some of my favorite movies for Halloween are the Ray Bradbury book, Something Wicked This Way Comes, which they turned into I think it was a Disney movie. If I could find them on YouTube, I was gonna make it the movie for this week. And so, I looked on YouTube, and there's clips of it, but I can't find a complete copy of Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's a fantastic movie if you guys have never seen it. It's very scary, it's very fallish, and it's about kind of like an evil carnival that comes to town during the month of October, leading up to Halloween. It's very, very good. Ray Bradbury also wrote the book, The Halloween Tree. So he writes a lot about Halloween and stuff like that. And I was going to also pick like Hocus Pocus, but I feel like everybody in the world has seen Hocus Pocus. And then I was also going to pick Halloween. Those are going to be my last 3 movies. The original Halloween, that started the entire franchise. Those were going to be the 3 movies that I was going to pick, but I ended up picking something completely different. Now, I'm not going to announce all 3 movies today, so you'll have to come back next Friday and see my reaction and my review of the movie that I picked for this week, and then I will announce next week's, and on and on and on. I had thought about maybe like at the beginning, just doing this video like once a month and just announcing all the movies for the month, and then once a month doing like a review of all the movies. But I thought, no, I think I'm still going to come back over here every Friday. So the movie that I picked for last week was a movie that I loved as a scary movie. When I was growing up, I always watched it around Halloween when I was like in my late teens and early 20s. And that movie is The Lady in White. It came out in 1988, which means I would have been a sophomore, junior. I would have been a junior going in. That would have been my junior year. I would have watched Lady in White when it first came out. So Lady in White came out in 1988. It is considered a thriller horror movie. It is an hour and 53 minutes long. And it says, in this sleeper film, which combines 1960s nostalgia with supernatural horror, an inquisitive 10-year-old boy, played by Lucas Haas, is locked in his classroom closet. While there, he sees the ghost of one of 10 children who've been molested and killed in the past 10 years. He also sees, but not clearly, the murderer, who then begins pursuing him. Okay, so I have to tell you, I watched this movie last night, and I had actually forgotten a lot about this movie. I think that what I would do, I think what I used to do back in the day is I would watch like the first maybe 30 to 40 minutes of the movie, and then like while I was like getting ready to go somewhere or getting ready to go to bed or whatever, and then I would like turn it off, because the second half of the movie I don't remember that well, to be honest with you. In fact, when I started watching it, I was like, was his dad like the one that was the murderer? I didn't really know who it was. I knew that it wasn't the janitor that was the murderer. But if you didn't watch it, it's about this writer who, it's kind of like very like Stephen King-ish, and he's like this writer that writes like horror novels, and he's going home like later in life. He's like 40 or whatever, and he's like this famous horror writer, and so he's going back to his hometown, and so he's telling the story of what happened when he was 10 years old. And it's about this kid who lives with his grandparents and his dad and his older brother, and his mother has passed away. And so it's Halloween, and he's already a writer, and it's like 1960s like Halloween party in the classroom. And so at the end of the class, he's written like this scary story. So he reads this story about the sea monster, and so there's like these two bullies. It's kind of very like the beginning of it is very kind of like a la Christmas Story, the movie The Christmas Story. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But anyway, so he reads this story, and then all the kids think it's stupid, and the very end of it's kind of scary, right? But anyway, I forgot one of my favorite parts is the teacher's sitting at the desk when all the other kids have left the room, and there's this girl next to him that he has a crush on. And when I saw it, I was like, I knew it's been years since I've seen this movie. I knew exactly what she was going to do, because she does this thing. If you go back and you watch it, she does this thing where she's like, I really liked your story, Frankie. And he's like, thanks, or something like that. And she like goes, she does like over exaggerates, rolls her eyes. It's so hilarious. And then she's dressed like an angel, and she kind of dances off like an angel. And then he helps the teacher carry his books out. But anyway, these two bullies are trying to lock him in the coat closet in the room. And so they've hidden his hat. So they like conspire to get him back in there. So anyway, he gets in the coat closet. They lock him in the coat closet. And when he's in there, he sees the ghost of this like murdered girl in the closet. And then the murderer comes into the room like in real time, not the ghost. And he sees him. And so then like he's like strangled, and he has like this like scene where he feels like he's flying. Then he goes to his mom's funeral and all this kind of stuff. So then the rest of the movie is about him pursuing, or him trying to figure out, like, who the murderer is, and the murderer trying to get him, and all this kind of stuff, and it's actually, like, a friend of his dad's, and all this kind of stuff. It wasn't, like, it was more, to be honest with you, first of all, I have to say, other than the first, like, 30 or 40 minutes, I did not love the movie as much as I remember loving it, and that's probably, I mean, it was a good mystery thriller. It was more of a mystery thriller. I mean, it's interesting that it calls it a horror movie. I guess it kind of is, because it's paranormal, but it was definitely more of a mystery thriller. When I was watching it last night, I got kind of bored a little bit, in all honesty. There was a point when they introduced the murderer, like, when they showed him, like, in real time, I knew exactly who it was. I was like, oh, that's the guy that's the murderer. Then at that point, I was just kind of, like, over it. And so, like, I mean, there's some scary scenes, but I didn't really remember that it, like, I thought it took place just around Halloween. I didn't remember that it went, like, way past that, you know? So, I liked it. I will still watch the first 30 or 40 minutes. It's very Halloween feeling. But the rest of it, I just kind of was like, it's a good movie. It's a good mystery thriller for, like, watching it the first time. But I don't know that I would watch it again. The first 30 or 40 minutes, I would. I would put that on just to watch that, like, Halloween party and the scary part. The music at the beginning of it, I remembered, is beautiful when he's like driving in the town. The scenery of the town is beautiful. I liked that part of the movie. The rest of it was just kind of slow to me. And I mean, I watched so many thrillers that it has to be a great thriller for me to watch today. But I mean, it was good. It was interesting because my cousin just told me to start watching Criminal Minds, and then it felt like after she told me, like 4 or 5 people. So I'm watching Grotesquerie right now with my husband, and so the first two, it gets very bizarre, but the first 2 episodes my cousin said reminded her of Criminal Minds. And so I started, it's like 15, 17 seasons. So I started watching Criminal Minds, and the very first episode, the first 2 episodes actually, Lucas Haas is in it. Well, I mean, this was like 2005, so he's like an adult in it, in acting in the movie. And it's so funny because, like, I think Lucas Haas is he's probably close to my age. I'm 52. I don't know how old he is. Let's see how old he is. He's been in quite he's 48 years old, so he's a little bit younger than me. Well, 4 years younger than me. But it's interesting because, like, I grew up with, like, his movies and stuff. So to go back and watch this, knowing that he's my age today, is, I don't know, it's just, I liked the beginning of the movie. It got very, very slow for me throughout the end of the movie. I don't know that I would recommend it to anybody, except for the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes were very Halloween-y. I liked that. So anyway, that's my reaction to The Lady in White, which brings me to this week's movie. Now, I'm hoping that this movie, hold on, let me pull it up really quick for you on Tubi. I'm hoping that this movie does not let me down. I wouldn't say The Lady in White let me down. Do I already have it pulled up? I don't think I do. I wouldn't say that The Lady in White let me down. I just didn't love it as much as I remembered loving it. Hold on a second, I'm spelling this all wrong. So the next movie, I don't remember when it came out. Here it is. Okay. It came out in 1982. I feel like I watched this movie with my mom. So I would have been 10 years old. I was born in 72. I would have been 10 years old when this movie came out. Okay. And the movie scared the hell out of me. I remember there was a scene, so it takes place in New York City, and I can remember there was a scene when they're like, I think it's him. So it's with Roy Scheider and Meryl Streep, and it's Still of the Night. And it came out in 1982. It's an hour and 30 minutes. So it's a rather short movie. Mystery, crime, drama. And it says, after one of his patients is murdered, a psychiatrist suspects the patient's mistress may be the culprit. Nevertheless, he begins falling for her. I know it's a lesser-known Meryl Streep movie, but it's like one of my favorite movies back in the day. I don't know, there's like that period of like the 80s where there was like all of these kind of like scary thriller movies that came out that were very realistic. So Roy Scheider, who from Jaws, is a psychiatrist, and he has a client that is murdered. And so anyway, he gets connected to Meryl Streep, who works for an auction house. Like, I think it's Sotheby's. It's something like Sotheby's or Christie's. And so she works for there. And so they like start having kind of like this friendship relationship and working together because she has a connection to the murdered victim. I don't remember everything about it, but I do remember that he's like following her or somebody, and there's like this tunnel in Central Park. I remember how it ends too. There's a color and an object, and I remember both of them because that's how they put together like who the murderer is. And who the murderer is, I can tell you. I mean, I know who it is. It's still shocking to me looking back on it. So I'm very excited to watch this. It's a very scary movie. It's like A Sea of Love came out around that time, and I can't remember. There's a couple of them like that came out that I liked all those movies. So anyway, I'm excited about watching this. Still the Night with Meryl Streep and Roy Scheider. It should be a good watch this week. Not Halloween based, but rainy New York. Rainy, so it'll be a good movie to watch with a cup of coffee, sitting on your couch with your blanket, getting cozy and scared for the night. Let me know if you're going to watch it with me in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.